welcome to this workshop on writing a successful Florence Nightingale Foundation scholarship application. My name is Dr. Gemma Stacey and I'm Director of the Florence Nightingale Foundation Academy. Our workshop today will aim to help you to understand and discuss the key features of a successful scholarship application. I will talk you through the application requirements, how you might interpret the questions, some common mistakes that we see, and top tips to make your application stand out. The application requires you to submit online. This is available through our website on the scholarship pages. You will need a letter of support from your chief nurse and evidence of your professional registration in the form of a scan of your NMC number. You will also, of course, have to answer some questions. There are 4 key questions. The first one asks you to tell us about your role and your team. We ask you to briefly describe the leadership responsibilities involved in your role and identify any strategic responsibilities you hold. These should include information on the nature of your team, including areas such as the number of people you currently lead and the budget that you manage. We ask you to discuss the key features of your approach to leadership and give examples of how you have applied your approach to leadership in practice and subsequently the impact this has had on outcomes. We ask you about your personal goals and leadership aspirations. We want to hear about your short, medium and long-term goals over the next 5 years. We ask you to outline what outcomes you hope to influence and how you will know if you have made that impact. And finally, how will the F&F scholarship specifically enable you to achieve these goals and have that impact? We want to hear about the difference that you see the F&F scholarship will make to you, the people who use the health and social care services you're involved in, the general public, policymakers, colleagues and senior leaders. So putting that into simpler terms, our questions are asking, who are you? How do you lead? What difference do you want to make? And how will this scholarship enable you to make that difference? The common mistakes that we see in scholarship applications are related to, first of all, short and very limited answers. There are 250 words for each question, and we encourage you to use the full word count to ensure that you've given the depth of answer that we are looking for. There are sometimes spelling and grammar errors, so we encourage you to ensure that you have proofread or asked another person to proofread your application before you submit it. We want you to give the impression that you've given time and effort and thought to your application because this means a lot to you. Sometimes the responses are very impersonal or generic. They feel like they could have been written by anybody or have been lifted from a textbook or a piece of policy. We want to ensure that we know what this means to you as an individual and the difference it will make on your patient outcomes. Linked to this, the goals can sometimes be very generalised and focused on the way that you may feel as opposed to the actions you might take or the behaviours we may see. So a good example of this is people often talk about a desire to increase confidence. What does this mean to you, and what difference would increased confidence make on the way that you lead? Sometimes we see no reference at all to Florence Nightingale herself or the Florence Nightingale Foundation Academy, so we don't know whether or not you understand the specific way that we develop leadership and that you will make the most out of that opportunity. And similarly, we see no reference to why the F&F scholarship is the right development opportunity for you, why this and not another type of development opportunity, what is unique about this and how will you utilise it to its best advantage. So our top tips: give yourself plenty of time, ensure that you use the full word limit, ensure that your answers are well structured and articulated, avoid repetition because this wastes words. Think about your first paragraph How will you grab the attention of the shortlisters who will be reading hundreds of applications? Make it personal. Share your values, share your motivations. Give us an insight into those moments of pride. Give lots of examples to bring your application to life. Be specific about the impact of the scholarship. When you think about yourself as a Florence Nightingale Foundation Scholar alumni, how would we celebrate you? What would be your case study? And finally, what would Florence say? How can you link your story to continuing Florence's legacy, which is why we exist as an organisation? The Florence Nightingale Foundation scholarships have had great impacts on individuals who have worked through that development process. We have lots of examples of outstanding scholars who do attribute some of their success to the experience that they had on the Florence Nightingale Foundation Scholarship Year and the subsequent networks that it has opened up to them to make a difference and have influence beyond anything they could have imagined before. So for 2021, our applications are now open. We open on the 30th of November. We close on the 4th of January, and we'll spend January shortlisting those applications. In February, you will be invited to interview, and in March, we will start to send out our offers with the view to starting the scholarships in April. From September onwards, you will join our F&F alumni community and start to enjoy those benefits. We look forward to hearing from you and receiving your application. Thank you for listening